There's a curse out there that says, may you live in interesting times. And this is one of those times where we are, in fact, living in living history. And who's the best person to analyze that than one of the most renowned professors of geopolitical and geostrategic studies, George Filis. Professor, thank you for being with us. George, first name basis, right?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me. The proverb is Chinese, eh?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's one of my favorite proverbs.
Yes, it is an honor to be with you here. I would like to thank you and the podcast, I Love Patrida. And it is always a pleasure to be with you and exchange our views regarding very serious and very important issues that we face as a country and as the planet in general.
Well, it's a flaming region, so someone with your insights would be really, really appreciated. Give us some sort of insight or a next level sort of analysis on what's going on. So tell us before we start a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I have concluded my first degree was in economics. I have done economics in the American College of Greece, in Degree College. Then I went to UK and I did my master's degree and my PhD in the University of Durham. My master's degree was in international relations. My case study was energy security. And my PhD, it had to do with the relations between Greece, Turkey, Russia, and the United States. I have based my analysis on the Anglo-Saxon geopolitical doctrines and theories of Sir Huffman Kinder, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to lecture now about this thing. And also I have used the theory of late Dimitris Kitsikis of intermediate space in order to make a blend and make a hybrid, let's say, I suppose. Okay, they gave me my PhD, so obviously I contributed somehow to this thinking. And since then, I have taught and I'm teaching in the university level. I have taught many years in the American College of Greece in Diri. I have taught in the Hellenic National Defense College for 3 years. In many military schools, I am a visiting professor. Also, I'm teaching in the level of the international baccalaureate level, the pre-university English speaking.
I did the IB.
You did that. Okay, so you know. And also, I am right now a commentator and an analyst in the television of Alpha TV, in the newscast. And also, to my great surprise, I have, let's say, public speaking and many people hear me and I don't know, besides my wife and besides my family. And I have this public exposure, which, okay, it has many good things. And of course, as you can understand, many bad.
What are some of the bad?
Okay. And also I'm married and I have one child.
This
good. Is the most important thing.
Good. I hope you have many more.
Ask my wife.
What are some challenges you face from this public speaking? And I mean, you're talking about hot topics, so I suppose that's one challenge. What would be some other challenges?
The basic challenge is to say the truth, to be real, and say the things that you think that are happening or they are going to happen, not as a prophet, but as an analyst. But also to face, as you can understand, critique on the issue, because not everybody like your opinions. And especially if you say, if you are truth for yourself and for the others, it's not something that it is very much appreciated by some people. Okay, the vast majority of the people, and when they are stopping me into the road, wherever I go, I receive their gratitude and their appreciation, and this is the greatest thing for myself. I'm thinking that I have done something.
Your work is appreciated.
Yes, and I'm very proud that my son is proud about me.
That's awesome.
This is the most important thing. I want the people that they are around me to be proud about myself, not if I make money or this, but of being what I am. Of being what I am.
Can I ask you something on that point?
Oh, yes.
Would you want your son to follow the same path like you?
Huh. Interesting. I have discussed this thing. I have to tell you that since my wife is a child therapist, is a psychologist, I have taken directions, okay, that I have to follow, very strict directions, as you can understand. So I'm trying not, let's say, to indoctrinate my son and my wife. She's not trying to do that. We try to allow him to give him the space to do whatever he likes. He is in an age right now. He's 13 years old. He's small, but he's not so small right now. He understands completely many things. And what I can tell you is that he loves history and diplomacy. Okay, so
Full circle.
Full circle, but it was not intentional. This is the point that I would like to say. It was not really.
Does your wife say it was intentional? Because the wife is always right, not you.
Yeah, and I'm very relaxed in my house when my wife is always right. You know, you have to be sure about that. I don't know if you are married, but
no, I'm engaged. I'm engaged.
You are engaged. Okay. Beautiful. Follow my advice on this.
Beautiful Diddy girl as well.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So the point is that no, my wife is telling me that she's happy about how I'm dealing with my son on this level. Of course, there are always, issues of critique, let's put it that way. What we're going to do with Panathinaikos. Don't allow him to see, too much football or whatever. But in any case, my point here is that, no, my son, he's raising in a family which has many books. And my wife and myself, we have books. We have libraries. And my wife has a public exposure. It goes out in the news and all this kind of stuff. So I think that he sees what is happening. And to a certain extent, okay, we exert influence to him. Okay. And, okay, he could have let's say, go towards more psychology-oriented issues, but he is not doing this.
He chose the right path.
He chose the right path. Okay, let's put it that way. So I don't know what he's going to do. We are ready to support him to all his wishes and ambitions and whatever he is going to do. But I suppose that he will go towards more humanities. He moves to humanities and not to more positive, let's say, oriented sciences. We'll see.
It's good.
We'll see.
It's a curse, but it's also good.
Yes, of course. We have to make money, and it's difficult.
If you're looking at the region right now as it is, right, and we're sort of, I'll get your opinion first as a father and then as a professor. If you're looking at the region right now and you see your kid growing up, right, do you feel safe about the kid growing up in this region?
Oh, very nice question, and very difficult. I feel, I'll tell you something. I'm trying in my house to make all the members of my house feeling safe and secure. This is something very, very important that we have to do. And if you want to have your colleagues, if you want to have your countrymen or your compatriots safe, you have to start with your house first. Okay. So the second thing is that I feel safe in the sense that we are not in the region which it is directly affected by warfare. However, because I am very well aware, or I think that I'm very well aware that we are in a very important region which is in a transformative period right now. It passes through a transformative period. I understand that the challenges for Greece are very, very important. They might be we might pass some dangerous, times. And obviously, in order to feel secure, we have to do some things as a country and as a nation. Okay. I don't think that we are going to see ballistic missiles over Athens, for example, right now, for the time being.
Are you sure? Some people
I'm saying for the time being.
Okay, fine. I'll accept that.
Okay, for the time being. Some people, from Central Asia, they would like to harm us. But in any case, I feel that we are living in interesting times. So the challenges are in front of us, we haven't passed them. Okay, so we might reduce the level of our security or whatever we think that security means, okay? Because this is another issue. Because as you can understand, when you go out as a political system and you say that we don't have any threat for example, from Turkey, obviously you try to pass a message of security within your country, but this security is false, as you can understand.
It's also interpreted wrong on the other side.
Exactly. So we are safe in the sense that we are not experiencing war right now, but we are not safe in the sense that we are in the heart, in geographic terms, of the developments in a changing world, in a changing order. So obviously, whether we like it or not, we will have to face challenges in the near future.
What kind of challenges?
What kind of challenges? First of all, economic. If since we have started like that, we're going to face economic challenges because this thing in what is happening right now in Iran and in the Gulf is going to continue. I don't have the impression that this thing will stop soon. Okay, it will take time. Whatever is going to happen there, maybe we're going to discuss these things.
They're mentioning 4 or 5 weeks until it's over.
Okay, 4 or 5 weeks until it's over. I don't know if you have a business and you have placed an order and you say in 4 or 5 weeks, I would believe you. But if we're talking about war, there is also the friction of war. Things might happen. Okay, things might happen. So we are not sure. But okay, it is good to say that in 1 month from now you are going to finish the job. But I'm not very sure if this is going to be the reality. Okay, even if you finish the job, the question is which type of finish you mean? Okay, which is your objective for this? And the objective that you have said, Trump spoke for 8 minutes in his statement to the nation on Saturday. He said some things which my interpretation is that they see the Americans, they want a regime change. Regime change, can the regime change within a month? Period of time. It is highly debatable according to myself and to my thoughts. Of course, it depends on what you mean by in political terms regime change, because from day one, Trump might say the regime has changed. 50 high-ranking officials plus Khamenei are dead. Okay, so he is a statesman. He's a politician right now. He can use this excuse that, okay, we did that, the regime will change, and it changed. But as you can understand, I suppose that the most important thing is to change the whole structure of Iran, of the policy structure of Iran. So I'm not sure if it will take them 1 month in order to do that. But even if we're talking about 1 month, 1 month, it's a very long period of time if you take under consideration that we have developments, tremendous developments on a daily basis, not to mention on a half-day basis. Okay, so I don't know when we'll finish this interview, it might have happened there. So, economic. So we're going to have economic for sure, because even today we have seen that, the price of gas has increased a little bit.
Yes, but that's Greece for you.
Yes. There are many parameters that you have to take under consideration on this. We'll see. So, but if we're talking about the protracted crisis and sustained operations, which might go beyond 3-4 weeks, then of course we're going to have some economic impact. It's for sure. I don't know if we're going to reach the oil crisis of 1973. Okay, I was not born back then, but I remember that my parents were telling me about this thing. In any case, this is the first thing. The second thing is to see if this war will become a fully fledged, let's say, regional war. If it is, for example, we have to see if the Emirates of the Gulf, the Sultanates of the Persian Gulf, they are going to participate in an active manner. Okay, so the question that you asked me, what exactly are the dangers? It depends if we're going to have a vertical and a horizontal escalation of the crisis. Vertical escalation of the crisis, I mean that there's going to be, more tensed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's going to be elevated. Trump said that we haven't seen, the worst thing so far. So maybe we are going to have a vertical escalation. And the horizontal escalation in international insecurity, it means many more agents to involve into the crisis. So we'll see if there's going to be a vertical escalation. I suppose that we're going to see it. horizontal escalation. If I was bin Salman and seeing Aramco refineries bombed continuously, most probably I would.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point, I would interfere. The same thing might happen with United Arab Emirates. I don't know about Qatar because Qatar has special relations with Iran. No matter what they are saying, they are in a most difficult and delicate, let's put it that way, position. But in any case, if this will escalate, and if we are not going to have the exact outcome that the United States say and Israel, they say that we are going to have in Iran, for example, this means, let's say, smooth, in quotes, smooth, change of the regime, meaning that we are going to have something which is going to be more lenient, more secular, maybe more pro-Western or not so against the West.
I think that's the best bet,
Yes.
not against the West.
Yes, something like that. So to have somebody to speak with in this region for this country, which is it is a foundational country, and for the geoeconomic interests of China and for the rest, we're going to discuss, I suppose, these things. If this is not going to happen and you are going to have an internal turmoil, internal instability, which might bring, for example, at least civil war, because there were many people, millions, obviously, that they were cheering the death of Ayatollah, but also there were millions that they were crying about this thing, and they were feeling sad. So if, let's say, the outcome is not going to be convincing, let's put it that way, and we have a situation which is not clear who rules the country, we might have also some centrifugal powers, for example, the Kurds, the Valuhis in southeast, Arab tribes in the south of Iran. So you know what is going to happen there. If we have this type of development, I think that the crisis will move towards the west of Iran. Meaning, we haven't seen what is happening right now in Syria. We haven't seen how the Kurds, they are going to participate into this thing. And also Turkey. So my point here, you see, I'm doing a lecture now.
No, it's okay.
My point here is that the danger for Greece, I'm trying to put it nicely, this is my point, the danger for Greece, it's tangible and real, that we might have into our doorstep war, and to our doorstep is not Iran, it's Lebanon and Syria, with the involvement of Turkey, with whatever this might mean for our security. And of course, we can discuss other scenarios which might happen with Turkey specifically, as you can understand.
You took the direction directly that I wanted to take you in. Because at the beginning, you mentioned transformation, chaos, and economic crisis, as well as lack of political will.
Alex, logical. It is something rational. This is something which we face in the international system consistently, and after 70 to 100 years, there is a period of transformation. This transformation, you have a redistribution of power to the geopolitical agents, to various geopolitical agents. It is the survival of the fittest in this case, as you can understand. And whether we like it or not, international law, it goes back, and the law of the fittest and the possibility for changing of borders is a very tangible reality. If we don't understand this...
So realism.
Realism, not realism of international relations, realism of life, actually. Otherwise, as I tend to say, you are a hobbit and you don't understand what is happening around you.
Okay.
The orcs came.
You mentioned Kurds, Turkey, and challenges in Greece. We've also seen a couple of missiles here and left and right of Cyprus. There's some movement in Lebanon as well with the Israelis. And my gut tells me that the Kurds are potentially going to be the best allies for both the US and Israel. So tell me more about this. How do you see that?
We just found out and read that there was a telephone conversation between Barzani and Donald Trump. Obviously, this links to what we said previously because in order to change the regime on the ground, you need something on the ground. The regime cannot change just with aeronautical operations and bombardments. Okay, you decapitated the political elite, the high-ranking officials, but I'm sure that they had counted on this probability or possibility, so they have a succession line into their ranks. But in any case, in order to bring change, because this is tremendous change for the whole Asia, not just for the Iranian people or the Persian people, you need boots on the ground. Now, if these boots on the ground, first of all, Trump yesterday didn't rule out this possibility for the first time. Okay. And the same thing happened, I think, and with the Minister of War, the Secretary of War. He didn't say specifically that this thing might not happen. So, of course, this thing, as you can understand, and having the experience of the previous expeditions, Gulf War I, obviously you were not born, and Gulf War II, you were born, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. It will take months to summon the forces, isn't it? Because ground forces, you need many things to be done, and you have to have a secure base. This is another thing. So you need something more quicker.
Word of mouth has it, it's going to be special operations, special forces, small team, in and out.
It's not enough. It's not enough in a country like Iran with 90 million people, even a multinational country, because it's not just one nation there, as we have already said. I don't think. Okay, I'm not an expert on military operations, but I suppose that I find it very difficult. Of course, you might act these special operations and the instigation that is going to take place. It might be a catalyst for the people to go out. But I suppose that you will need something more there, something which will have also will have the ability to exert armed force in order to, let's say, in order to implement whatever it has to be done. So I suppose that this discussion with the Kurds, with Barzani, it may give us an impression or a direction towards where we're going, because the Peshmerga, they are a very well-organized, military force in northern Iraq. Obviously, Barzani were the leaders when there was a short-lived Kurdistan in Iran immediately after World War II. It was Barzani who was the leader for this family, I mean. Okay, not this one. He's not a Highlander. But in any case, I mean that the Kurds, yes, it is something, and this is, let's say, my brain tells me that it is connected very much, this discussion, with the need to find allies, armed allies, well-organized allies into the region.
So, Professor, boots on the ground via proxy.
Boots on the ground. Okay, this is the story of our life. It is boots on the ground by a proxy, and there is something else that I'm thinking, and we have to say, Alex, if we see things in retrospect, you will understand, or you might think that, okay, in order to counterbalance, let's say, maybe the role that the Kurds are going to play in Iran, they actually weakened them in Syria.
Tell me more.
I'll tell you more. 1 month ago, or 1.5 months ago, we had, obviously, the withdrawal of the Kurdish forces from. They were controlling around 1/3 of Syria in the Euphrates River. It was, let's say, a de facto border. And the Americans, they didn't help, in reality, the Kurds to sustain this line with the jihadists of Golani and Damascus. And actually, the Arab tribes that they were allies of the Kurds, they went with their kings, obviously, with the Arabs, the jihadists. And Kurds actually withdrew to their hard places, which it is in the northeast of Syria, in the Hasaka-Kabisli region. The Americans didn't move. The Turks are happy. So, if the Turks are happy there, the Turks are not going to be happy in Iran if Barzani makes a move, or the Peshmerga are going to be used from the Americans as a proxies to have boots on the ground. So it is a balancing act of the Americans, it might be interpreted, okay, as a balancing act from the Americans in order to pacify the Turks, okay, regarding the developments within Iran.
Do you think it will pacify the Turks?
No. I'm saying what the Turks, the Americans in general, the Westerners, they don't know how
the area
works.
Yeah.
They don't know how the area works. There is another very nice saying, for example, saying you can never buy an Arab, you can hire him. Okay. So you can see that in reality, what is happening. And they do the same thing or mistakes over and over again.
Right.
Okay. So in any case, the Kurds, they are not Arabs. First of all, this is a very important issue. I don't have anything with the Arabs. I mean that they are not, racially they are different. They are Hindu-Europeans. Yeah. Okay. They are actually very close to the Iranians. Okay. The Kurds. So this has been done in the past, Alex, and I will tell you what I mean. When the Americans, with the Washington Agreement in 1999, summoned Barzani and Al-Labani of northern Iraq in Washington in order to mediate to end the civil war that they had. And what was the price? The price was that they are going to give them an autonomous entity in northern Iraq. What has happened? This, if I'm not mistaken, it was in March of 1999. Simultaneously, we had the Öcalan issue. So on the one hand, actually, the Americans, they are making a semi-autonomous entity of northern Iraq for the Kurds, okay, something which is a curse, as you can understand, for the Turks. And simultaneously, in order not to be so negative on this, they gave, in reality, Öcalan to the Turks. Do you see?
Yeah.
There is a similarity. Of course, it remains to be seen if we are talking about, if we are going to have something similar, meaning, to give them something to pacify them or to make them, let's say, for example, Erdogan to have something to say to his voters.
I don't think
constituency.
I don't think appeasement is going to work that much for them.
Of course, I'm saying what they're thinking in Washington.
Yeah. Of course.
That's why I'm not feeling secure, because they're thinking wrong about the Turks.
To me, the way you're explaining it, Professor, if knowing Turkey, the way I would perceive it is automatically you get involved into this.
Erdogan has told us. He told us that if there's going to be an internal instability in Iran, the Turks will invade in order to make a zone of protection against illegal immigrants.
And that
the same thing
poses a question about Israel's reaction to that. And there's a question about Cyprus as well.
Okay, the question first goes to Israel. I will refer to you to the Nagel Committee. 1 year ago, Jacob Nagel made a report which says that the following 10 years there's going to be, or it might be, a war between Israel and Turkey, and the Israeli Air Force, the Israeli armed forces, they have to start the operational planning and to, let's say, organize their procurements and whatever, the dogmas, the doctrines, whatever, for dealing with this issue. So I suppose, and I think that on the plans of Israel regarding the new Middle East, as Netanyahu has said in the beginning of the Gaza crisis, okay, in October, in the middle of October, in the next following days of this massacre that took place in 2023, I don't think that this Turkey has a place. I'm not saying that you are not going to deal with Turkey, but not with this Turkey, I suppose. And I think. So I don't think, I want to count my words here on this because I understand it's English speaking. Okay, some people might hear it. I don't care, but in any case, I'm always telling what I think that might happen. But I think that Turkey will find itself in a very difficult position right now if it will choose to intervene in Iran in the way that Erdogan says. And it's not only Israel, it's also the United States right now. Because another thing which we have to say it is how many months we are hearing that Netanyahu and Trump, they are at odds and the Americans are not supporting the Israelis. Okay, allow me now to bless my bird and yours, as we say in Greece. I was saying, well, παιδιά, you will see it. Guys, you will see it. You will see if they are at odds when it will come to Iran.
Yep.
Because this is the main issue. Okay, to discuss about a humanitarian issue, which is a humanitarian issue as well, in Gaza, okay, and the Americans and the Westerners to say that, okay, we need to do something in any case for 2 million people, yes, and to have some, let's say, discrepancies between the views between Jerusalem and Washington. But when it will come to the big fish and when it will come to the main source of geopolitical instability in the eyes of the Americans and the Israelis, both of them, they will go as one.
Right.
Okay. So I don't think that Turkey will have too many, let's say, too much space to maneuver there in Iran. Okay.
So it will maneuver in Cyprus?
First of all, it will maneuver in Syria.
Right.
That's why I said in the beginning of our discussion that most probably the war, if we are going to have a protracted war, is going to move to the west of the borders of Iran. So it's not going to be confined into around the Gulf.
Right.
Okay. This is the economic parameter for Greece. But if we go to the west, then we're going to have hard security issues, as you can understand, depending on what, of course, will happen. And I am, first of all, allow me to tell you that since October the 8th of 2023, so the next day of what has happened in Gaza, of the massacre, I was saying that what started in Gaza, it will end in Tehran. Okay. And 2 years ago. Okay. So right now, I'm telling you that I'm feeling that what has started in Tehran, it will end up to your shirt that you wear to Turkey, Alex. Because the Turks, they understand, they are not stupid.
Right.
Okay, they are not stupid, but they are this bipolarism, as my wife says, not for the Turks, when we discuss about psychology, bipolarism, which is not wrong on the one side, because if you see Erdogan within one paragraph, when he speaks, okay, he says these very nice things, which he thinks that he says.
A little bit of here, a little bit of there.
A little bit of here, a little bit of there, but he says in one paragraph that we are going to make the empire, and the next line he says that somebody wants to dismantle us. So this, if this is not bipolarism, what is schizophrenia? So they have this schizophrenic attitude, and you know something? This means, in psychological terms, that they are very dangerous, and for themselves and for the others. Okay, so either way you catch it, you take it, it is very dangerous for us because, as you can understand, yes, you are continuously speak about Cyprus. It is the borderline of Hellenism right now. Cyprus is the most vulnerable, but the most important part, allow me to tell you, about Hellenism, whatever it will happen to Cyprus, it will come to the Aegean. Okay, according to my opinion. So the case study for what will happen to Hellenism, what will happen to Greece, what will happen to my country, to our country, is it's going to be played into the waters of the Eastern Mediterranean. And that's why we have to be there. I was very glad to see that the Greek government right now decided to send a task force, an aeronautical task force, into the big island, the island of Aphrodite's island, because the island is Greek, no matter what the Turks they think or the British are doing.
Do you think it was enough, though? And for what purpose was it sent there? Was it sent there for Cyprus or for Britain?
Very nice. This is a very nice question. I will see the glass half full. I prefer. Yeah. So, no matter what the reason is going to be, Alex, it boosts the morale of the Cypriots, of the Greek Cypriots. This is the important thing. You know, for me, I'm trying to see the essence and what is the important thing for us. They have used also, there were some people in the government that they said that, we sent the frigate Kimon because it is interoperable with the new high state-of-the-art electronic systems, the ISA radars and all this kind of stuff, with other forces there. Okay, I don't care. You know what I care about? I care that the frigate Kimon went and followed the history of the general Kimon, of the Athenian general of 450, which he went there, he beat the Persians, even dead. Okay, and the story goes on and makes a very nice full circle. So, because, the Greek Cypriots, they thought it in that way. Do you see? Even if they wanted to do it, because I'm sure that they wanted to do it in order to demonstrate to our allies that we are the good kids, guys there and all this kind of stuff. But also, it had something very good. It demonstrated that in practice, first of all, that Greek forces can go immediately. This is something which you need to count it. Okay, they are there. The discussion between Christodoulidis and Mitsotakis, it was in the midday. In the afternoon, the F-16s, they were there. In the afternoon, the F-16s, they were there. And afterwards, at night, the frigates arrived in Cyprus. So, is the question if it is enough? It is enough from this point of view, from the point of view of boosting the morale and making the statement that the island is Greek and they are the Greeks there, that they are responsible to defend it. Because the British, they were not ready not even to defend their own sovereign base. Okay, so it's not enough, of course, in order to counterbalance the Turks. But I think that it is enough to make the statement, and it is enough for the level of threat that we have right now. And if the level of threat is translated into the movement of UAVs against the island. Right. If you're going to ask me what it needs to be done regarding counterbalancing the Turks, I'm telling you that we need, of course, to have a squadron there on a permanent basis, not a wing, okay, a squadron, or let's say half of squadron, because, okay, for security reasons, you cannot have, let's say, 20 aircrafts there. If you have 4 to 8 aircrafts, I think that they are more than enough to make your statement and control the region. Of course, you need to have interoperable, because right now, though, it's not enough. It's not only for Cyprus, it is for the whole region. Israel, Cyprus, Greece. It is for the whole, let's say, space east of Central and Eastern Mediterranean. It's not enough. We need to be interoperable. We need this Achilles dome. It's a very nice marketing process, marketing message. I hope the marketing makes to be consistent, however, meaning that all of them, they are going to go towards there, not just to market it in words, but to take advantage of our colleagues from Israel, to take the know-how, to give them what we can offer them. For example, the Kentavros system, anti-UAV jamming system, passive system, as they call it, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I apologize if I'm not calling it correctly. The Israelis, they asked that they wanted to incorporate them into the dome. This is something amazing, according to my view. So we need to create a continuous, let's say, area of denial, okay, and interoperability between the Greek forces in the mainland of Greece, the Greek Cypriot forces, and Israel. Okay, in order to, and then I'm going to tell you that this is enough. But in order to do that, Alex, we need to go beyond the strategic cooperation with Israel. And I am of the one, of the people and of the individuals which they are asking, and they are, okay, pressing, whatever level of leverage I can exert, or we can exert, because it's not only me, that we need to sign an official alliance of military agreement of mutual assistance, okay, with the Israelis. Of course, as you can understand, the Israelis, they don't need us in order to deal with Iran.
Nope.
They don't need us in order to deal with the Arabs. The main issue for the Israelis is the Turks, okay, for the next decade. So we have to make, if you want my opinion, and we have to forge a military alliance between Greece and Israel in order to safeguard the rule of law, okay, and the international law into the waters of the Eastern Mediterranean.
On that note, I think a lot of those countries, so the regional alliance should be both, and this is my perspective on it 100%.
Okay.
It's that it should be military and economic, and it should be tied between Egypt, Cyprus, Israel, and Greece.
I agree with you. But you know very well, more better than myself, that Egypt, it has to be.
Yeah.
But are you 100% sure that it will stay? This is my point. Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But do not misinterpret what I'm saying.
No, I
mean
understand.
that the core is Greece, Cyprus, and Israel.
Yeah.
This is the core.
It is.
Okay. Of course, it's most welcome, Egypt. Of course, it's most welcome.
The point with Egypt is that you have huge military capabilities.
It has huge military capabilities, and it has the huge Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes, that is true. And you have a good amount of 65 to 70% of the people that want Sharia law in Egypt. So it does face challenges.
That's why I'm telling you. Okay, of course, it's more than welcome, Cairo, to participate. Who am I to say something else? The Egyptians, I have many Egyptian students in the past. But we know, if you read history, Egypt is our second home, let's put it that way, for many Greeks. So, yes. But if I have to be realist, I have to say that the core is with Jerusalem, Nicosia, Athens, Jerusalem. Egypt is a very important strategic asset, which it has to be included. But believe me, that's why I'm trying to be real and honest on this. You have always to have contingency planning in the case that Egypt,
I agree,
will not be in a position to, let's say, support and honor this, let's say, arrangement. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
In that sense.
No, I appreciate it and I agree. The way I see it is that they have strong economic ties with Turkey.
Of course.
And they could float either way, the Egyptians. So what you want to do is you want to find a way to disrupt that, because it literally breaks your alliance in half.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And you can end up fighting in both fronts.
Yes, you have to support the secular, obviously, government. You have to support all these people that they understand that the reality is the best interest to the Egyptians is to have very good neighborly relations with Israel and with Greece. The Turks, they are not the neighbors. The Greeks are the neighbors. The Israelis are the neighbors. Okay. And the Turks, they are trying to become neighbors, in a paranormal manner, in an abnormal manner. Okay. So also they run the danger, because let me tell you something, Alex. If you speak to a politician, a secular politician in Egypt, my question is, if you tell him, or if you convince him, it's not a matter of convincing, but in any case, if you tell him that, okay, Turkey is not going to change, even if Erdogan will leave, okay, will depart, whatever, even if there's going to be a dictatorship, even if the military is going to regain power, whatever, Turkey is not going to change. The Turks, they have taken the route. They have made the choice, and they are neo-Ottomans right now. So do they want actually to ally themselves with somebody which that at the point when you will find yourself in a weak situation, it will try to take advantage and, let's say, drag Egypt into Sharia, into a radical Islamic...
Or refund the Muslim Brotherhood.
Or refund them. Do you understand? Yeah. So, okay, there are, I think, logical and solid arguments in order to deal with the Egyptians. But because, as you can understand, logic in the Middle East
doesn't
work well all the time. You need to have a contingency and backup plan. Okay, I insist on this. And this, again, I'm telling you, is not against Egypt, obviously.
No, of course not.
It's to protect yourself from unfortunate events that might happen, like the Morsi incident, let's say. Okay.
Turkey funded.
You said it.
Okay, fine. You mentioned previously that Turkey's gonna potentially find itself intervening for the issue of migrants
As an excuse.
as an excuse, but I want to focus on the migrant thing for a bit.
First of all, I haven't seen many Iranian migrants. They are not going.
Yeah.
They are not leaving their country.
Yeah.
Or the people that have left their country, they were the royalists.
Right.
Okay, so they had money.
Yeah.
I know.
A lot of them come with golden visas, for example.
Yes. I know, when I was 10 years old, I made an Egyptian girl. I baptized her. I was her godfather.
Really?
Yes, I was her godfather, and I baptized her Christian Orthodox.
Beautiful.
Yes. I'm not saying the whole story because it's a family story, but
It's okay.
this was
On the migration issue. Greece has been a subject of waves
of invasion. Ella.
Yes, well, yes, illegal migration. I was gonna say, but yes,
You are politically correct.
invasion.
I
Is
like
the
your
best
shirt.
Invasion is the best way to put it. Do you think this poses an issue, a security issue in Greece, Cyprus, Tel Aviv? Not that much, but do you see it poses a security issue in Greece and Cyprus in the way that you will see rogue attacks, the way you see them in the U.S. or in other Western nations?
Not so much within the framework of what's happening right now. More, it is a security issue when we will enter the field of the Greek-Turkish relations. I mean that we know that they have established networks.
So you think there's a strong cell in Greece?
Yes, there is a strong cell in Greece. No, it doesn't have to do basically with the global war between Islam or with whatever they think that they are combating with, in any case, but it has to do basically with the Greek-Turkish relations. So they're going to weaponize this thing, and utilize this thing. Sorry, the Turks, when the time will come, when not the time will come, when they will think that the time has come.
Here.
Okay. So yes, of course, I would be very careful right now because Greece, it's an integral part of not of the operations, but of supporting the operations that they are taking place right now against Iran. So we need to be very careful, especially into the big civic centers, and of course into Suda Bay, for sure. I have read the news that there were too much traffic with spies and virus.
There was. I was going to say there was a spy that was caught. Recently.
I had two of them. The one Georgian and Turk, something like that. So in any case, you know what is happening. This is the curse and the blessing of being in a very geographical important position. Okay, so I don't have psychological problems. I understand this. The point here is that the Americans, I think that the Americans, for the first time after World War II, they have understood the importance of our country. Sorry that I...
No, don't worry about it.
They have understood the importance of our country. And this Sir Keir Starmer helped us a lot. And Recep Tayyip Erdogan, this great Turk of Pontus, or former Greek family of Pontus, has helped us a lot. Come on, Potamia. This is his village. There were not Turks there. Okay, in any case, sorry, Tayyip. In any case, the point is that right now, due to these very stressful situations simultaneously evolving and in Ukraine and in the Middle East, Greece is taking its rightful position, which is in the center of the developments. Now, it is in our, let's say, grasp, okay, either to make it a blessing or to make it a curse.
Do you think we have the political power and will and politicians to make it a blessing? Or are we going to turn it into a curse?
We are learning. Of course, we are not good students. Yes, we are not good students because our political personnel is not trained for these situations. Do you understand? He's not trained. Up until the Cold War, it was very easy. You are with the Americans or the Soviets. End of story. There was no point to become an international relations analyst. After all,
Two sides.
two sides, yes, more or less. If you are in the northern hemisphere, okay. If you are in, into global south, yes, it was more complicated, the situation. But in any case, after that, you were with the Americans. It was the unipolar moment, okay, of the 90s up until, let's say, 9/11, up until, I would say, the global financial crisis in 2008. After that, it became even more complicated, the issue, because it's not very clear now who runs the place. Because the United States, yes, it is the military global power, it is an economic superpower, but it has competition. And actually, Iran is one result of this competition with China. Because if we see it on the global level, the conflict in Iran is about China. It's not about Israel. And
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. I don't have any problem. What I was saying that our political personnel stayed in the Cold War, actually, or not? No. I rephrase. Sorry, because in the Cold War it was pro-Americans. It stayed into the Europe. The great idea.
The early PASOK years.
The early PASOK years. And the Semitic years. After the Semitic years, we turned to Germans. So the problem here, it's not the Germans, are that we have a specific orientation which actually excluded ourselves from our vital space. And the vital space is not Europe. The vital space, as a geopolitician I'm talking about, which I've read history, I say that I know some things, okay, is the water axis, Black Sea, Straits, Aegean, Eastern Mediterranean. This is our vital space. Vital space is not Rotterdam, if you want my opinion. And right now, we try to educate ourselves somehow to reorient, but we have some, as you can understand, constraints and some vested interests which they are turning, towards Brussels. Okay? It's very difficult to break them. Okay, I'm not saying that we have to depart from the European Union, but I'm saying that we have to strive, our political personnel, it is to strive for the interest and the security of the Greek people, not of the security of Brussels.
So, to put it in a political incorrect form, to grow a pair of balls.
Yes.
Okay.
So the point here is that I think that we have reached the limit of the current political system of what they can do towards that direction. We need people that they have a clear mind and peace of mind, actually, not only mind, regarding what Greece should do. You see that on the one hand, we go, Mr. Katz came here for days. Okay, 4 days. An Israeli defense minister, he came 4 days to stay. Okay, I understand that very few things went out. Completely understandable. I'm not saying anything about that. And this was good. But the next week we went to Turkey. No, this is the message, the marketing mix that we're using is not correct. We are sending contradicting messages. I'm not saying not to make diplomacy. I'm not saying this. You need to make diplomacy.
Can I pause you there for a second, Professor?
Yes, of course.
But we're sending contradictory messages because I don't think we have the skill in terms of diplomats not to send contradictory
that's why
messages.
I'm telling you, we are not trained. We are not trained. It is something that we need to change on this, and I'm sure that some things are changing with the persons. You cannot change. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks, as they say.
What you're saying is we need a purge, a catharsis that cleans everything up. Because if you see the way the diplomats become diplomats, or this system as a whole, it's not particularly reflective.
I have to tell you. I was not sometimes, 3 times I have become. Let's say I have participated in simulation games in the National Defense College in Greece, Σχολή Εθνικής Άμυνας. Okay. And these simulation games that they were lasting for 3 to 5 days, they were very interesting experience of life, I have to tell you. I was in the committee that it was it was releasing the scenarios and all this kind of stuff. Okay, I was made as an evaluator, as you can understand. And I understood because there was some interoperability with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and obviously the military. They were sending the young students into these simulation games. Okay, not bad, but be careful. You have the military, which are 50, 55 years old, people that they are ready to become commanders either in big units or go to NATO, go to the European Union. So you had very experienced, high-ranking officers with 25 years old diplomats. No, you have to send your experienced diplomats to play the game and the simulation with the experienced military personnel. Do you understand the point?
I do.
Because otherwise, I'm not saying that you cannot do that, but take these young diplomats or the young students of the diplomatic corps and make a simulation game with the students of the Σχολή Ευελπίδων here, of the cadets, of the young cadets, in order to make them to be on the same page and on the same page.
That's how you grow a generation.
Yes, exactly. But no,
consistent foreign policy.
Exactly, because we're talking about very serious simulation games. I don't want to make to be more precise on this and make some detail to give more details on this. But I mean that you see, and I saw that in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have different mentality than in the Ministry of Defense on how to handle with a crisis. And I'm coming to this. So you need to re-educate yourself. You need, first of all, to boost the morale of the country. You need to make the Greeks understand that we are not a small country. Because how many times you have heard politicians, we are a small country. Τι λες, αδερφέ, what are you saying? How are we small? We are in the middle, in terms of population, we are a middle-sized country of the European Union. We are on the top 5 countries in military terms in NATO, 5, 6, okay? You have in the top 50 economies of the planet, and you potentially control a very vast space, if you include Cyprus as well, which is equated with the vast space, for example, that Sweden or Spain controls. How in the hell are you a small country?
And you're not counting the Greeks that are abroad.
No,
or the second generation.
I'm not counting. I'm a realist. I'm counting only them, only the people that they live here. Okay, so you need to change the perspective. This is the point. It's not an easy thing. When I'm saying that they are not trained, the personnel, the political personnel, I want to be fair. They have not been educated. They don't know anything else. This is the point. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I don't blame them. I'm not saying that they are traitors. I'm not saying that they are stupid. They have interests. Some of them, they might be traitors. Some of them, they whatever. But the vast majority, they are not trained. And, after the Metapolitevsi, after the 1974, the Greek state did everything it could in order to demolish the national identity and the morale of its people. I am a wrong of nature, of the Metapolitevsi, personally. I'm an error in the software. No, you are not, because you are younger, so, okay, the things have changed, I suppose, when you were... Okay.
It's a different podcast
altogether. Okay.
Okay. I like that you see it as a fault in training. I think it's because they have no real life experience whatsoever.
This is another thing. Yes. When you have democratic aristocracy or aristocratic democracy that we're having in our country, this is something that unfortunately happens. I agree with you on this.
Changing a little bit the topic, since you previously mentioned communism, how do you think China is reacting to all of this, and how does it affect its Belt and Road Initiative?
Okay, first of all, why the Russians, they have not officially interfered on this thing? Officially, I mean directly and immediately. 3 things. First of all, I suppose that they have come into broad terms, how in any case, in Alaska and afterwards with Trump. I am sure that they didn't discuss only Ukraine in Alaska. They have discussed other things as well. They didn't call me, but this is my. I find it unnatural not to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, these global and world leaders. Number two, if we are going to enter in an economic crisis and the price of oil will go up, uh, it will have to make a statue of Trump in the Red Square,
Right.
Putin, because he will be in a position to gain more, okay, to have more profits. Of course, he is a bit tense right now because he's losing markets, but I suppose that the Chinese always will find a way to buy more from Russia. So number two, within a more or less confined escalation, Russia it will gain from this. Okay, and number three, if you want my opinion, because the system has not been stabilized yet, so we cannot be sure if it's going to be a bipolar, a tripolar. We'll say multipolar. I suppose that it's going to be a hybrid system, which means a bipolar system, basically, China and the United States. Rubio has said it, actually, with Russia not being exactly on the same level, and many more powers, regional powers, having too much space for freedom. So it is a hybrid between Cold War system and crescent of Europe, concept of Europe of the 18th century after the Napoleonic Wars.
Right.
You know, something like that. So within this level, if we see it from this perspective, you will understand that Russia, it likes that China is on the rope right now with Iran. Why? He likes that because they don't love the Chinese. They fear of the Chinese due to their actual size. Okay, for this reason. And
those people are animals, the Chinese. They're beasts.
They are tough people. They are tough people. So, you know what's happening? In this situation right now, Beijing starts to need Moscow more. So on the same level that Moscow was needing Beijing during the Ukrainian war. That's why I see the Russians being in the corner, watching and smiling a bit, because also in the back of their mind they have the point that the Americans, they might be dragged into a stalemate, like what they are experiencing in Ukraine. So this is another reason. So. I'm asking for Russia. You didn't ask me, but I'm telling you for Russia first. I'm professor. I will
it's okay. Go for
it. Okay, let's go to China now. China, it has a problem. It has a big problem. Why? Because Iran is, let's say, the milestone country for its Belt Road Initiative. And why? This is proven from the fact that in March of 2021, in 2021, they signed a memorandum, the Iranians, with the Chinese, which more or less it gives the country to the Chinese,
right?
Effectively, okay. And the Chinese, they have said that they are going to invest 400 billion euros to Iran. Okay, they haven't done this yet. Of course, it is a 25-year period memorandum. This means that they are going to exert influence into the coastline of the Persian Gulf, obviously the Hormuz Straits. They are going to be allowed to take over the basic infrastructure of Iran. Well, Alex, Iran is doing this traditionally. If you see from the Darcy Agreement in the beginning of the 20th century, when they come in to deal with a big power, they give everything. Like the British before. Okay. So I don't know why. No matter if it is the Shah or the Mullahs, they do the same thing on this. In any case, the point here is that the Iranians, they have become, let's say, the point of intersection of the land road of the Belt Road Initiative and the sea road of the Belt Road Initiative. So as you can understand, if somebody would like to disrupt, the Belt Road Initiative, or to create further problems to the Chinese, to make it more difficult after all, the whole thing, Iran is the obvious choice to break this highway that is being formed. Okay, so if you see Iran, and as we say in foreign policy decision-making and analysis. You have to see it in a multi-layer level. For example, on a local level, yes, there is the issue, for example, of the war between Israel, of the competition between Israel and Iran. On the regional level, it is the issue of destroying the Shiite Iranian corridor. On the global level, it elevates on the issue of dealing with China and the United States. So if you see all these three layers, the local, the regional, and the global, actually for the Israelis and the Americans, the choice is obvious. It's the same thing what you have to do. Okay, that's why I see and I understand. This is the reason. This is how I understand the crisis right now. On the question what China can do on this, number one, historically speaking, okay, the Chinese, do they have the volume, for example, of the forces to exert some type of leverage and power in the region? Their aeronautical forces, yes, they have the power to send. But if they do that, as you can understand, we are elevating the crisis and we're going somewhere else. This is not a simple choice to be done. Number two, do they help the Iranians? We know very well that they help them. They have helped Hamas. The Israelis, they have demonstrated in Hamas 3D printers, if you remember, for guns and these spare parts, whatever they were using. They were Chinese. Obviously, the ballistic missiles, they need to be, I'm not an expert on this, but they need to take data, satellite data and all this kind of stuff in order to be guided. It's not possible to do it, without these capabilities. So they have done also this thing. They might have given them the electronic equipment, jamming or anti-jamming equipment. The ballistic missiles, this is something that I would like to see. In any case, we have to see if they have given them the missiles with the capability to hit big naval vessels, like aircraft carriers. This is something because China has developed this technology. Of course, as you can understand, if something that will happen, this means direct Chinese involvement because, so this is another issue. That's why I think that the Chinese are not going at this level, at least, the level that we are right now, to interfere to this level. Okay?
I don't think they want direct conflict.
Yes,
either.
This is the point. However, they can make a distraction in Taiwan.
Yeah, they can.
I'm not saying that they are going to invade, but they might create a small crisis, which then the Americans, they will have the dilemma, am I going to send forces there? And can I do it? And in any case, to stretch the American capabilities. I'm not saying that they cannot do it in two fronts, but you understand that it's very difficult in economic terms, in political terms, in any aspect, for any governor. And something else in order to conclude my thought. So I don't think that they are going to involve to this level. Not at least the way that the things are now. Now, if we have something groundbreaking or something amazing will happen or something very bad, I don't know. I cannot tell you. But I don't think that it's in the plan to start World War III now on this. Λοιπόν, sorry. The other thing is that you need to evaluate what has happened one day before the war, the eruption of war. We had a small war, one-day war between Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Okay.
On Friday.
I was gonna go for India, but you.
Yeah. No. I will put this part into the big picture.
Go for it.
Okay, the Taliban attacked to Pakistan in this instance. Okay, so it's something normal, but the intensity of the incident, which brought some hundreds of deaths in very few hours, okay, and bombardment of Kabul, Kandahar, and the other cities of Afghanistan from the Pakistani Air Force is telling me what. And the important thing is that the Taliban attacked, not the Pakistanis. They started the quarrel. The Taliban. What is telling me, because we know that the Taliban, they have let's say, working relations with the Americans. Let's put it that way. When the Americans left the way they left, they
Gave them the weapons.
all the whole hardware. If you see the mantra that it was there with the armored vehicles and the Humvees and all this kind of stuff, and now they're parading the Taliban, and you think that it is the U.S. force in Afghanistan. So the Taliban, they did something which I suppose it disturbed and worried China, because the best ally of China in the region is Pakistan. So maybe it was a message. Okay, do not cross a red line, because we are going to create a problem, and to another very important ally. And this important ally also, it is another very important part of the puzzle of the Belt and Road Initiative, and as a corridor east-west, but also it transverses Pakistan from the north-south in order to have an exit into the Indian Ocean. So I think, okay, this is what I think. Okay, it was a direct message to the Chinese. Not to cross a red line, because they're going to be another problem to another very important country of them. And I suppose that the Indians, they would be very happy about this.
They would.
Okay. So you see, I understand. My understanding from this is that for the time being, and I want to stress this thing, and under these circumstances, the way that we face, Chinese, they are not going to interfere to the level that they will escalate the crisis horizontally and vertically, and they will say, we have to make our prayers, all of us on the planet.
Wouldn't that mean that they would then have to accept that all of the groundwork they've put in the region is gone?
Yes, this is very important question. You know what's happening? They think that they might protract the crisis in Iran the way that the Westerners protracted the ability of Ukraine to resist. It's a war of attrition.
Right.
Okay, you should not forget this, because they think that it's to the last Iranian, as the British or the French, or they say to the last Ukrainian. It might be the same thing, more or less, if you think about it. So that's why I've told you it is of the utmost importance, which is the objective, the objective of the United States and of Israel to be achieved quickly. Because if it's not going to be achieved quickly, we might enter this type of situation. Okay, so yes, China is going to delay its Belt and Road Initiative, but if you balance the geoeconomic with the geopolitical, always the geopolitical wins.
Yeah.
Always the geopolitical wins, no matter what they are telling us, the liberals or the neophile left, as we say in Greece. I don't know how you're going to translate this, English, whatever.
Neoliberals,
neoliberals, left liberals, the left liberals. So, and you can see the best example is, for example, in 1914, when Great Britain had the dilemma, is it going to enter World War I or II? If you see the cabinet of Lloyd George, it was discussed. There were the people that they were saying, we have the balance of trade and the level of trade, actually, between Britain, Great Britain, the Empire, and Germany is the most important on the planet. And no, the geoeconomic, it withdrew in front of the geopolitical. Okay, so obviously, the Chinese will wait. They are patient. It's their culture on this. And we'll see what will happen, of course. And obviously, I suppose that they will try to find some type of alternatives, after all. But the alternative, in such a case, it crosses the sphere of influence, the sphere of interest of influence of near abroad of Russia. That's why I've told you in previously that the Russians understand now that the Chinese, they needed them more. Do you understand the point? So we'll see what will happen. It is a delicate ballet upon the ruins of Iran, unfortunately.
Well, I don't think the Russians' understanding of global politics is as good as the Chinese or as the American.
Of course not.
They have a name, but they don't really have that kind of power. I don't like the word power. They don't have that kind of
Leverage.
leverage. Yeah, that
Leverage.
understanding.
No, but that's why I told you that they will need them within their sphere of influence.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It is in their neighborhood. It is in the Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, from their point of view. By the way, I remind you that 2 days before the initiation of the invasion of the launching of the invasion of Russia to Ukraine, we had something similar in Kazakhstan, which is similar to Afghanistan with Pakistan, if you remember.
Yep.
Oh.
But go on. Sorry,
I
don't want to interrupt.
I'm trying to say that, before any big geopolitical event, there is something which is in the neighboring countries is happening. I'm finding a trend here. I'm seeing the big picture.
Do you think that's why the Israelis said that Greece and Israel need to protect the Aegean?
Very nice. Now we'll go somewhere else. Yeah, it's not so somewhere else.
Do they know something we don't?
If an Israeli minister and the Minister of Defense says something about a region which is beyond, let's say, the sphere of influence of Israel or of the vital interest of Israel, it means that this region has become vital interest, first of all. And secondly, yes, they know something. Listen, Alex, and since we're speaking in English, so I don't know who is going to see this, but my opinion is, and I have expressed it years now, I'm not like a seismologist or how they call it, I forgot the name, in any case, astrologist. I'm saying, however, that the natural course of things is telling me that with the Turks, there is no if, it is only when. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to, let's say, put my small piece of contribution into raising awareness, the awareness of the public, of the people, and of the political system in order to do something about it. And I'm not talking preemptive strike. I'm talking about, first of all, to change the mentality of the people. You know what is the biggest mistake of the Cypriots? They were saying, the Minister of Defense of Great Britain yesterday said that there were things that they are coming to Cyprus. And Christodoulidis went out and said, no, there is nothing that threatens us and all this kind of stuff. The next day,
they got hit.
Yes. So why in the hell to do such? Why do you think that the Greeks and the Greek Cypriots, they are not mature enough to understand what's happening? Why you are not preparing your population for something? This is a big debate, but this is if we send it, put it back into our country, this is the debate. This is the debate. It's not trained. You are like an ostrich that you will put your head beneath the ground. For God's sake.
I think it's just willful bliss from the politicians.
Yes.
They just don't want the hot potato
that's why
in their hand.
Yes, that's why I'm told you they are not trained. They are not trained. And if they increase, they are not trained. Imagine Cyprus, which the realities are different. Okay, right. So my point here is this: is that the Turks eventually they have unfolded, let's say, this canvas of demands upon Greece, that they are not going to be in a position to take them back afterwards. After a point, after all, some people, they say that Erdogan, okay, he is from 2003. Eventually, he entered the power in November of 2002, and after 6 months he took over. Erdogan, it has put all the menu on the table. Okay, whenever it will happen,
big buffet.
Yeah, the big buffet. Whenever it will happen, no matter if it is Erdogan or his successor, Bilal Erdogan, most probably, and some military men, and it's going to be Neo-Ottoman plus Young Turks. It's going to be both of them. The next to Erdogan, the successor to Erdogan. The fault is to Erdogan of what will happen. It's not to his son, I don't know who else, but I think that the most probable thing, if it's going to be lineal linear the succession, is going to be Bilal Erdogan. It seems to be Bilal Erdogan. Okay, we'll see. But my point is that these things and the demands that Turks they have, they cannot take them back
Foreign
politically.
policy has been set, yeah.
Yes, and they have created, they have educated and trained their own personnel on this. Do you understand? So it is something that I cannot put it to my mind. They are discussing, for example, that the small island of Makonisi, it has been taken by the Greeks in 2004, 2006, 2007, something like that. So this means that Prime Minister Kostas Karamanlis, he was a great
Prime Minister.
He was a great Prime Minister. Okay, not Prime Minister. I mean, a great conqueror. Don't laugh. I have told him, you are a conqueror. You have taken Pharmakonisi. You have taken all the islands because you know what Bakhcheli is saying and all these guys. They're saying, okay, these islands, they have been taken by the Greeks and they have been conquered by Greece. Yes, but they did it in your watch, they say to Erdogan. And then they put numbers, they put dates. They say 2006, 2007, 2009. So this means that the Greeks and the government of that period of time conquered new lands. And I have told to ambassadors and to people that they are in position, why in the hell, I'm saying third time this thing, catch me. Why you are not publish a photograph, Pharmakonisi 1968, Christmas. Publish this photograph, for God's sake. I don't know, Andreas Papandreou visited Inouses, 1982. Do you understand? We don't do the obvious, practical, logical things. Don't leave anything fell into ground of what the Turks are saying. Make an observatory, Turkey observatory, in the Ministry of Defense, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Diminish all their claims.
Yes, diminish all they are so ridiculous, their claims. Their claims are so ridiculous that, what can I say, a first-year student of international relations can confront them. The point is that they don't want to do it. This is my point. They are talking about the Lausanne Treaty. Okay, how many islands beyond the 3 miles of the coast of Asia Minor are controlled by the Turks? Why we don't say, okay, these are ours? Simple things. I'm not saying to make war. Who wants to make war? But make sure that you have credible threat. Credible threat. And if you have a credible threat, you are going to postpone this thing. Okay, I'm not saying that you are going to avoid.
What about if you had economic ties? So if you build mutual economic ties, would you then be able to avoid it?
Geopolitics.
I agree. Okay.
I answered to you previously. There is no such a thing. Unless you have individual economic ties. This is another issue. I stop here.
Yes, those are dangerous waters. I was contemplating whether we should go there or
I'm
not.
going to dangerous waters, but not these waters.
Yeah, okay.
Not within my realm.
Okay, so we've come up on time either way. So, Professor, it was great having you. It was an honor. It was a great discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It is a great honor for me.
I hope we can do this again in the future.
Whenever
you were fantastic.
Whenever you want.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.